But yeah, it's been good to get back at it. And anyway, you know what I mean? I know it helps for her and stuff like that. She loves to train.
Yeah. And so, like, did she start long after you started? Kind of got into martial arts.
Yeah. She was the last one to join. Yeah, she only joined maybe last year, but she only does jiu-jitsu. She's not really interested in MMA or anything like that. Just grappling.
Yeah, I suppose it's kind of good for that kind of, I suppose, the older generation. Like sometimes throwing kicks and something like that, like the coordination.
I don't know. We might be happy that we're calling the older generation for that.
Older than you and me.
She'll be snapping when she says this.
I didn't mean any offense, you know.
I'm only taking the piss, bro. That's funny.
But like, what age?
But it is like she's like, I think she's like 40 something or she's around that age. I'm not too sure, to be honest. But yeah, it is good to see her active. I know she used to play football as a kid, and then she never really done anything like else, like from the teens to 20s and 30s, and now she's like 40 or whatever, and she's joining jiu-jitsu. So it's great to see, man.
Yeah, it's mad like that. Like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you can just pick it up like that. Like, you know. Like
yeah, exactly. Just give it a go with it.
Yeah, like you can't take a break from other sports like that and just go back and take it up. But like jiu-jitsu, you can take it up like that anytime.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's always even like fucking taekwondo, like what you do, isn't it? It's like technique beats everything, isn't it? If the technique is correct, the age or the other things don't really matter.
Yeah, definitely. The only thing I suppose with taekwondo, the only downfall is sometimes the flexibility can be hard to pick up when you're. That's the only thing, but everything else, you can compensate and you can definitely improve and pick it up later in life. But it's just flexibility. You're just, if you're somebody starting at 5 and 6, they're always going to be an advantage. Somebody starting older, flexibility.
Yeah, very true.
But like, what's your kind of background? Like, how did you get started in martial arts? Like, what got you interested?
The thing that got me interested, I would say, is Andy went to school with Paddy. Like, she was doing a course on fitness with Paddy. And then I would kind of got into boxing. Not really got into boxing, but like I messed around with it, you know what I mean, for like 2 months or something, only a kid running around the gym annoying everybody. And then as I got a little bit older, I'd like said, right, like I'm from like a rough enough area, so I was like, right, I'd like to know how to fight, because you ever see like when you walk past somebody your own age when you're like 14 and you're like, jeez, he might start on me now, like I'm not sure what it's like. But I never really got into fights as a kid and stuff like that. So I just thought, right, I'd like to join MMA and, well, the UFC, as you think it is back then. I'd like to join UFC and like learn how to fight. And I just kind of got into it. And I went up to like learn how to box people around and kick people's head in. And then I fell in love with jiu-jitsu, man. Like I have a younger brother who's bigger than me. And when he like we'd be rolling around the gaff and stuff, and we'd be rolling around the mats, and I realised, like, when I do the technique correct, it doesn't matter that he's bigger than me, you know. It works, like, the proof is in the pudding. So I just kind of got into it for the self-defence part. Yeah, I didn't really think about competing or anything like that.
Just kind of mad, isn't it? Oftentimes, like, with the reason, I found this quite a lot in everybody I've had in the podcast, the reason people start is completely different to the reason they stayed in the end, or like, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It grabs you. You go in thinking it's something else, but then your eyes are open to it, like.
Yeah, like that. Then, like you said, you only started for self-defense, really, but then competition gets a hold of you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my very first competition, I lost to a girl, man. And like that let a spark under me, you know, like and now every time I go with a girl, I go as hard as possible. Equal rights on the mat. Yeah, exactly. But like it showed me, like it really did, like it spanked me jiu-jitsu, man. Like it brought me in and it taught me a lesson, you know, like she battered me and I was like, Jesus, like you think, you know what I mean? Like, oh, obviously I'm gonna beat a girl because I'm a boy, but she bleeding whooped me, man. And it made me get good at it.
Yeah, like they said, technique trumps all.
Yeah, and I truly do believe that. Like, I truly think, like, if your technique is correct, like, maybe you might have the wrong technique at that moment, but if your technique is correct, then it should work, no matter what the size.
Yeah. Was it Paddy's gym then as well, like that you got started in originally, or was it?
So the one I got started in originally and still train at would be under John Kavanagh. So I joined that gym because it was close to blue belt and I could get the Lewis from after school. So I went to school on the north side and got the Lewis from Abbey Street all the way up to blue belt every day after school from second year on.
Yeah. What do you think it was about jiu-jitsu? Was it just the fact like that it was? What do you think it was that got you more so than the striking and stuff?
Fuck. I think it was just the fact that, like, Darren's my brother's name, and like him being bigger. I tell you what was the first technique actually. It was a sit-through. I'm not sure if you know what a sit-through is, but it's when you come up on all fours, so your hands and your feet, like you're in kind of like a turtle position, so you're down on the ground, and the person on top is wrapped around your waist. So like it's a very common street fight scenario position.
Yeah.
And what I do is I lift one hand up and then bring my opposite leg through. So I'm kind of doing like a breakdancing move. And then like when you do that, they kind of fall off you. And the stronger you hold on, the stronger the guy holds on, the easier it works. And I remember thinking like, this is like magic, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I still laugh when I think about it. Like, it's crazy, man. And that's still one of my go-to techniques.
Yeah, especially because it's always the bigger guy who's looking for the fight, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think little guys have a problem, bro. I think the little guys have like the little short man syndrome, and they're always looking like little Jack Russells.
Yeah.
The big guy gets the bad rep, but the little guy always starts it.
Yeah, that's what. So the big guys, it tends to be towering over everyone. I suppose the small guy sometimes.
The little guy says, "If I can knock that cunt out, nobody will start at me." And then the big guy batters him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it? Yeah. You're not big yourself, like, are you?
No, I'm bleeding tiny, bro. Yeah, I'm only a flyweight.
Yeah, I'm about the
I
same.
say I'm 5'6", but I'm probably only about 5'5" realistically.
Yeah, I'm only about 5'6", 5'7" myself, so I'm not that big either.
But you can kick higher, so it's you can kick higher than that.
Yeah, but if it goes to the ground, you can choke him if it goes to the ground.
If I can get it there.
Yeah. But like, then did you start competing straight away, or how long were you training before you kind of got into competition?
I done my first competition probably about 3 months after I joined, like pretty early on, like, yeah.
And was that all in the gi at that time?
Yeah, I trained exclusively in the gi because, I trained in the teens class with Owen Ruddy. So the Monday session would be like gi, and then Wednesday would be MMA, and then Friday would be gi again. So just in the gi, no gi grappling, just in the kimono, and then I just compete specifically in that. Yeah.
Yeah. And were you successful straight away? Or I know you said like your first one was it, but like did things kind of pick up after the first one?
Yeah, after the first one, I think I probably like maybe trained for another 5 or 6 months, and then I started to compete again, and I think that's when I got a gold medal. Yeah. But yeah, it's been like ups and downs on the journey, you know. But it has been like I've enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see like, is that something as well that kind of kept you hooked? Was you saw that progression? Like you said, you went from being tapped by a girl to next thing you were winning gold medals.
Yeah, it was good. Like, and I think the main thing was just in the gym. Like, I think like that is where the hardest battles are fought. Into like the competition was good because I got to go against different people and go full on. But I think in the gym, like the thing that made me stay was like I want to beat that guy in the gym. You know, I have to get better than him.
Yeah. I suppose you're in a good gym for that as well. Like there's a lot of top guys.
There's loads of people, bro. It's mad, man. And you think like it'd be all the big names, and obviously they do bash it as well. But there's like guys in the gym who just nobody knows, man, and they're just absolute animals, man.
Yeah, guys who don't want to compete, or guys who just when they do compete, can't.
No interest in it really. Like they just don't care, or maybe like the nerves get to them and they do it once and then they don't really enjoy it. But like or maybe they're old or something like that. But yeah, like those guys, you know, yeah, the benchmarkers, man, the quiet savages.
Yeah. So like, what belt are you then in jiu-jitsu now? What have you progressed to?
So now I'm a purple belt. So that's like 2 away from black belt.
Yeah. And how long do you think it will be before you get there?
I'd like to be professional when I'm about 24 or 25, and I'd like to get me black belt around that time as well, to be honest.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Is that relatively young for black belt in jiu-jitsu?
Uh, no, it doesn't really matter. Like it's whatever. Like it, they say averagely it takes 10 years or something like that. But I'll probably be coming up on six years now. My purple belt, so another 3 or 4 years. I'd like to have my black belt.
Yeah, that's like what way do the kind of grading, like what's the grading kind of system? Is it just you kind of have to roll with it around the people? Like what's the kind of grading like?
Yeah, exactly. So what you'd have to do is you'd go out and you'd show like some technique, like not like a kata, but more like specific movements. Like, so okay, pass the guard. So you'd go out and you'd pass the guard, and then you'd say mount escapes, back escapes, side control, and you go through all the positions defending, go through all the positions attacking, and then I would sit out, or whoever else is getting the belt as well on the day, they would specifically go out, and then you'd have rounds against everybody, whoever's on the mat.
You don't want to hope it's not a busy day. A busy day.
I've seen some Ironmans where there's 100 people, and oh my god, like they go on for a while, like yeah.
Yeah. But you kind of need that in it. So I suppose like that's the kind of test of the stamina test that goes with it as well. Like that's
because your fitness will go out the door no matter how fit you are, and then the technique is there.
Yeah. And like, so would you know then, like the day you're grading, like would you kind of have it set like, oh, there's a grade in this day and months in advance, or is it kind of like about 2 weeks time, kind of we're going to bring the guy down for the grading? I suppose John and that can do the grade, so there isn't that much of an issue. Like, but would you know months in advance or?
No, so like for me, like sometimes you can tell, like sometimes you tell, but when I got my purple belt, I didn't know. Like John put up a post saying we need everybody down to the gym to give like the MMA guys who are white belts their blue belts. Know what I mean? Like just it's a ceremony type of thing. Like just give them their blue belts, and then they can start to compete in jiu-jitsu, because it'd be fucking a rip off a professional MMA fighter going into a white belt tournament.
Yeah.
So like I was kind of like, lovely, I'll go down and I'll get a few rounds in, because it'll be good like in the gi with the MMA fighters. And then I ended up having to go out and test for my purple belt, like, so I was kind of like, oh bollocks, I'm not expecting this.
Yeah, I've heard that's happened a couple of times to a couple of different people. It's kind of just been a right. You turned up tonight. Now you're being put through the test.
Yeah. Jamie McInerney, like a black belt in SBG, he said to me like, "Now, Gary, pace yourself today in the change room." And I was kind of thinking, "What you mean? Like I'm just going out here to roll?" And he laughed at me, and I was like, "Oh bollocks, I'm at being stung."
And there's no turning back then.
No, and then I caught him like 3 rounds in, and I was dead. And I said, "Oh, I'm at the blowing me low, Jim." Yeah, I was bollocks.
And do you do much training in the gi now, or since you've kind of moved to a bit into MMA? Are you more no-gi now?
No, I would be more no-gi, but I definitely do still train in the gi. Yeah, I think it's an important part of jiu-jitsu and MMA. Like I know people would have different views on it, but I think training the gi, it doesn't not help your MMA.
Yeah, that's what.
And it's fun, man. I just really enjoy playing around with it. Like it's a game, you know. Like there's no danger in MMA. You're kind of always thinking like, fuck, I have to get on top, or I'm going to be smacked around. Whereas in the gi, you can be loose with it.
Yeah. Did you find that adjustment hard? Like obviously you're not, when you're competing in jiu-jitsu, you're not worrying about getting a punch in the face when you're on the bottom.
Yeah.
Did you find that to be an adjustment?
Yeah, it's a difference, alright. It really is. Like, yeah, it is. It makes you change your game quickly. Like, it makes you get cauliflower ears quick.
Well, so what would you kind of say was your kind of biggest? Because I know you were quite successful in jiu-jitsu, kind of, you know, as a junior and coming through.
Yeah.
Like, what would you kind of say was your biggest achievement?
My biggest achievement, I'd say maybe. I think maybe getting bronze at the World Championships in Jiu-Jitsu over in California as a blue belt. I'd say that would probably be one of my biggest achievements. Yeah.
Yeah. What was that experience?
It was
California
good.
for the competition.
Yeah,
That's the life.
it was deadly, man. It was some trip over. It was so cool, man. I was over there with Joey Breslin and Lee Hammond, and they competed as well. So it was unbelievable. It was a great experience. But I think like just flying away, man. I'd say like just that's the best. Like traveling everywhere. I traveled to Germany with my outfit to compete in Naga, Germany. Like that was great. Like it's like just going around traveling, like it really is. It's an unbelievable life that I'm grateful to have. Like,
Yeah, it was something that, because I've been traveling with taekwondo for years, but it was kind of only the
yeah,
last Europeans in October. We were in Bosnia, and it was the first time I kind of maybe stopped and thought, you know what, there's worse things you could be doing than traveling to these
yeah,
places
exactly, bro, exactly.
and,
And then
and
when you think
competing for a
about
week.
like how many places you've probably been, like, and you're only a young lad, like it's mad.
That's it, like, yeah. But like, there's worse things. Like, it's like, because you're cut off nearly from real life for however long it
Yeah,
is, for the few days anyway, and it's like you're just around the thing you love to do, like competing.
yeah,
So like,
yeah,
how bad is it? Like, you know, there's like
yeah.
things could be so much worse.
Everybody from all different countries all over the world doing the same thing as you, like in one convention center, scrapping it out to see who's the best. Like, it's a crazy life. It's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I suppose, and as well, you only realize like how much you do love it as well when you can't do it. Like obviously, like, everything's locked down and all. It's
Yeah,
taken away. It makes you love it even more.
yeah, yeah. I was privileged though. I have like mats in my gaff, so I've been training, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that's handy. Yeah, anybody who's had equipment at home has been a big.
Yeah.
Did you find training at home, like, training at home hard? Like, did you pull yourself off the couch?
No, no, I tell you what, for the first like week or two, I definitely did, and I put on a bit of weight and all like that, and like everybody. But now after that, to be honest, I started to get my shit together, and like I really started to work hard.
Yeah, I was kind of the same at the start. I was like, I just had no motivation because like
Mm.
everything was cancelled, and it was too hard to like to
Yeah,
it was too easy to not do it. You know, that kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Because you think like we're doing it all day, every day, and we kind of don't get the chill. So when you do get the chill, you really enjoy it.
Yeah, but it's much easier when you're getting up and going to the gym. It's like you're at the gym then to
Yeah,
train, but when you're at home,
yeah,
it's easy to go. Uh, Another few minutes, and I might go do a bit, and then the day's gone.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. What I done was I set a time every day. Like, so at first we started, I think it was like 11 or it might have been 10 o'clock, and then we started to get earlier and earlier, and I think by it might have been 8 o'clock we were doing a workout at 8:30 down in my flats with like a few people who lived in the flats. So it was kind of like you had to kind of show up to a class then, so it was good. It was only in the block, but at least you're out of your house and you're down in the open.
yeah. See, like, that's what you kind of need, isn't it? Yeah, that set
Yeah, the
time.
community spirit, you know what I mean? Like the flats fucking pulled together throughout it.
Is there many people around the flats that doing that train MMA?
No,
Or
man, there's not really that many, to be honest. Like there is a few, there's the odd few, but like I think I'm not sure about taekwondo, but jiu-jitsu is kind of like an expensive thing to get into. You know what I mean? Because you have to buy the gi and you have to pay for the membership and things like that. You know what I mean? And there's not, and like boxing is like £2 a week.
Yeah, yeah.
And you get given your gloves and you get given your head guard, and like it's unbelievable. No, I'm not dissing boxing, but like the jiu-jitsu, it's kind of like a posh person's thing, you know what I mean? Kind of like rugby or something.
Yeah, I suppose that is kind of so. It's a thing you maybe don't think about. I suppose when you're actually in it and doing it, you kind of sometimes maybe don't think about that the cost of things like that can affect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It definitely does, but I'm looking to bring it into the area now. Like I hope to open up my own gym soon enough, and like give back to the community, you know.
Yeah, your coach already do it. You already take
Yeah, I
class.
coach. Yeah.
Well, how'd you find that experience as opposed to competing?
Coaching, yeah, I love coaching, man. I love it. Yeah, I actually got into coaching fairly early on, helping on Roddy with the kids' classes in SBG, and I still do that today. But like, it was weird. I kind of just like I'm almost doing coaching as long as I'm training. To be honest, I'd say the same amount, maybe like a few months less.
Yeah, that's very unusual, though, isn't it?
I was quite like
Spread.
not coaching. I was an assistant coach at the start, so I like just shut me mouth and just made sure the kids didn't kill each other. But
Yeah,
then, like, okay, maybe Ruddy can't take a class, and he texts me, Gary, would you be able to take it? And you just copy and paste what he does, and then you just learn. Like,
but it can be a test to your own knowledge, though, can't it? Like when you
yeah,
have to show somebody,
100%.
do you know your stuff? Is a
And
test.
kids, man, kids are ruthless. Kids don't give a shit, man.
They don't, like, yeah. That's uh,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, I find I coach and teach classes myself and stuff, and
yeah.
it definitely you have to nail down what you know yourself, and it makes you really
Yeah,
think of
because it makes
what
you
you're doing.
reinforce it, doesn't it?
Yeah, Yeah,
And how many days a week do you coach?
about 5 days a week.
5 days a week, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Have you been doing that long?
I've been coaching about 10 years. Yeah.
Whew, fuck yeah. Have you coached kids ever?
Yeah, mostly kids, mostly all kids.
And what do you think about coaching the kids? It's better than coaching the adults, isn't it?
It's good crack, like, yeah. It's
Yeah,
I love coaching kids, like, and I love
they're
seeing them,
fun, man. They're fun.
yeah, and I love seeing the way they come in the door, and then like that you see them progress all the time, and
Yeah. And it's crazy how quick they can pick it up. Like, you see, like, I'm not sure about Taekwondo, but like, you see kids kind of come in, and especially at an early age, and they just do the movements naturally, and you're kind of like, Jesus, like that was a high level movement there.
yeah, definitely. It's just
Yeah.
they're just naturally, just physically good, like just athletic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've no blocks on their mind. They just go for it.
yeah. But I've even seen that now, the ones like coming back after the lockdown, like coming back into the classes, the one who's are just like, it's like they never left. They're just still physically, just athletic. Like, you just come in and they're just as good. And some of them, you're kind of thinking, I'm not sure you were able to kick like that before you left. So, it's kind of
yeah. They've been training.
like, there was a few said they were. There was a few came in. I was asking them,
Nice.
did you do any bits? And it's like, every day I was doing little workouts. I was like, geez, fair play to you.
Yeah, more than us.
That's exactly it, yeah. But I have to find as well, it's great when you see the ones who aren't that good when they first come in, but
Yes.
they can sometimes be the best ones.
Yeah, 100%. And how do you find them compared? Like, did you coach the kids first and then started to coach the adults? Because I find coaching adults is way easier after coaching kids. Like, you can just break the technique down a lot simpler.
Yeah, I find it's a mix, I suppose, because I find to some degree I don't think maybe necessarily you can progress the adults as like I feel like you can physically work the adults harder, but in terms of the skills, you can't progress like the skill side of it as quick, just because like
Yeah.
they're just not at the ideal age, I suppose, to pick stuff up.
Yeah. Fair. They're still stiff from sitting in the chair all day.
Yeah, it catches up with everyone.
Yeah, it does. Don't be saying that. It's creeping around the corner for me.
So, like, would you still prefer like coaching the kids now yourself?
Yeah, I love coaching the kids and stuff like that. Yeah, I definitely do enjoy them, man. Yeah, they're fun to coach, Charlie. But no, I enjoy coaching just as much as I like training myself. It goes hand in hand for me.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, it's just a different feel. It's just a different buzz. It's like, if you asked me which one I preferred, I probably couldn't pick. It's like I like them both the same, but they're different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it's good because like when I get the knowledge and then I'm able to show them, and especially like, okay, the younger kids might not see the light bulb moment, but if you coach like a young athlete or something, and he's like, oh, that's the piece of the puzzle I need. Like, it's cool to pass that on.
Yeah. But then how does the gradings work in jiu-jitsu then for the kids? Like, is there a different system to like the
Same
main
thing.
system?
They wouldn't have to like roll at the end. So what it's called is like an Iron Man or a Shark Tank. They wouldn't have to do that really. They just like kind of do the techniques. You see if they're doing the techniques correct. And they would have to roll, but it wouldn't be as with everybody. They just have to roll with like certain people.
Yeah, then how does it work in terms of the belt progression? Like, obviously, I don't think they wouldn't go to blue and then they have a separate kind of system. Is it for the younger ones or?
Yeah, for the younger ones, there's a separate system, yeah, and it kind of goes 3 belts for every colour. So there's like your yellow white belt, your solid yellow belt, and then your yellow black belt, and then you would go to your orange white belt, orange black belt.
Ah, okay, yeah.
And then for each one of those belts, you need 4 tips to get onto your next belt.
Okay, so it kind of does slow it down. You're not going to have you don't have 10-year-old black belts running around like.
No. Maybe 16-year-old black belts.
Yeah. To be honest, I think any martial art who has 10-year-old black belts isn't the real deal.
No, it's fake as fuck, bro. It's fake as fuck, yeah.
Black dojos.
My niece has a black belt, and you're just like, nah.
Yeah, there's always that one, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah. It's proxy.
I remember though when I was a kid, I was only doing taekwondo. I was only about a green belt. I was maybe about 2 years, And I remember I was out the front of the estate, and there was like these guys, like, because like grandparents lived in the estate, and they came and they were like, oh yeah, we do karate, and I'm a black belt in karate, and I was like, oh, I do taekwondo, and he's like, oh, I'm a black belt in that as well. And then he was telling me there's like this other martial, I'm a black belt in that as well. I was like 9 and he was 11, and I was really believing him. I was thinking, Jesus, this fella's a killer. And I was like, he's a black belt in all these.
A black belt in boxing.
And the thing was, he didn't even do any martial arts. He was just talking shit. Like, but I was just there, like that. I was believing. I was laughing it up, thinking, "Oh my God, this guy's a black belt. He's 11 and he's black belt 3 martial arts."
Pulling your leg.
So what could I got you into? Like, what made you transition into? Was the plan always to transition to MMA, like, or was there kind of?
I think, like, yeah, I like what I said. The Monday was jiu-jitsu, and then Wednesday was MMA, and then Friday was jiu-jitsu again. So I'd always kind of done MMA, you know what I mean? I'd never not done it. I'd always, like, once a week done the MMA and stuff, but fell in love with jiu-jitsu. And then as you get older, you're kind of looking at the boys fighting and stuff, and you're kind of saying, like, yeah, I'd actually kind of like to get back into that. And then you just start adding on the sessions to MMA, and then you're training so long at it that you're kind of like, right, I want to fight now. Like, I want to test this out.
Yeah, how have you found it?
Jiu-jitsu, you know, I want to see if the shit I do works, you know, and like I want to fight, you know, and I don't mind the fight, like I don't mind the scrap, like it's a fun experience. But like it's like going in to save. Right, let's see if this stuff works, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it just. Yeah, it does. Because that's a job here, isn't it? When it comes to MMA, like, or you see something like, oh, that wouldn't work in a real fight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in jiu-jitsu you hear that a lot. Yeah, I wouldn't move in a real fight. That.
You see, you hear taekwondo. I think you hear a lot of martial arts, and like, it's probably true. Like, to certain, like, not everything from every martial art works. You know what?
Yeah, exactly. But there's a time and a place for it.
Yeah, 100%.
I'd never diss any technique. You know what I mean? There's like, okay, it might not fit my style or it might not fit my body type or whatever, but if you can do it, like, fair props to you, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I can barely throw a body kick, man. My legs are stiff.
You have to get on there stretching.
I know, man. I know. To be perfectly honest, it is a thing that people do. Like, they just don't do. And I'm one of them. Know what I mean? I don't start with a warm up. I just get straight in. Like, when I train, like, or when I coach, I'm the guy who doesn't stretch or doesn't let a student stretch. I'm like, straight in, hard training, and then leave.
I found I used to be able to get away with that, like, but I'm not old, but I'm 25 now. But like, I would have found before, like, I just rock up and I can train.
How long are you doing it? When did you start? What age?
I was 7 when I started, so.
Yeah, but see, like, you're not old, but you've been training a long time. Like, it's mad when you think about that. Like,
that's it. Like, yeah,
it's crazy.
But yeah, I always find, like, I could just rock in and I could no warm up. I jump in, train harder, but I'm starting to feel like more and more that it's like a fine line. Some days I could turn up and I could not warm up and train, and I could be grand. But there's always that chance that you could pick up that injury. You could pick up that injury. It's always there. Like, it can go either way sometimes. So I'm starting to feel like I need to warm up now.
And then, like, you're struggling to go toilet the next day. Your back's killing you. You get out of bed. You feel about 70.
Yeah, and that's the worst thing to hurt is your back, like, because you can't do anything. Like, you can't move.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah. But like, then, like, most of your, like, MMA experience so far has been through the IMMAF kind of competitions, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've had most fights with IMMAF. Like, yeah, I've had more fights with IMMAF than I had, like, on a domestic show. Yeah.
Yeah, and how have you found that experience, like, traveling away and the weigh-ins and on the same day and stuff like that?
Yeah, and even, like, I'm not sure the way it is with you, but I'd say in Taekwondo it's similar enough where you're probably staying in the hotel with all the other countries and stuff like that. So it's a weird vibe that when you're like, everybody's sizing everybody up and, like, everybody's, like, speaking their own language and stuff like that, and it's just like, geez, this is a mad one.
Yeah, definitely. It's and you're looking, that's the guy I'm fighting, and then there's, like, this kind of thing. And see, we're competing so long, like, there's a lot of the same guys in the division. Like, it's like, you know, you see some guys and, you know, you'd be over, well, how's things, like, you know, how you getting on, like,
and then some other guys
and other guys are giving you the eyes, like, and you're kind of like, they're not kind of like, what, like, it's like, I'm sound,
it's a
like,
crazy experience. Yeah, it is. It's a weird one already, but no, it is fun. I enjoy it as well because I think you have to, like, be detached from the fight as well as like 100% invested. Like it doesn't matter if I'm fighting Kazakhstan and I'm in a lift beside him. Like he'll get it when the day is coming. Like I don't need to fight now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna get to give you a hiding in front of everybody in a few days or whatever. So it doesn't matter. Now saying that I lost to fucking Kazakhstan, but that's me mindset.
Yeah, but that's the mindset you need, isn't it? Like it doesn't like what's the point? The same like what's the point in giving the guy the daggers of the eyes or like you know not saying hello to somebody? It's like at the end of the day, you're gonna fight like.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see if you can give me daggers then when I'm digging your head in, you know.
And how do you find like even I don't know if you cut much weight or anything, but how do you find like if you're in have you been in the sauna with anybody you're competing?
I'd cut a little bit away. But not too bad. Like I don't have a dietitian or anything. Like I kind of just do my own weight cut. Sometimes it's a bit rough. No, but it's not too bad. Like I just eat clean and then I get like advice off Lee Hammond and things like that who gets advice off other people. So secondhand information. Don't pay for fuck all.
So that's the cheap way to get it. It's the cheapest way.
Yeah. Eat the breast after and the thigh beforehand. That's what he told me. Get the brown meat in before training and the white meat in after.
But I guess have you found like you've been in a sauna or anything like that, like with guys you're going to fight on the same day? Have you been cutting weight next to the same guys?
No. I went over on weight, so I've never had to like cut weight over there. But like the night I lost to Kazakhstan, and that night I went down to go train because in IMMAF they have mats at a certain level and everybody who loses can just go train down there. But I seen like Kazakhstan, the guy I fought, Gani, he was down there cutting weight, skipping in the sauna suit and stuff like that, and I was thinking like fuck, like maybe he took it a bit more professional than I did. But the next weight class is very low, it's like 52, and like I'm about like 59 now, so it's 7 kilo and to weigh in on the same day, I think it's a bit heavy, you know.
Yeah. So you're fighting at 57 then, is that's the weight, isn't it?
I fight at 56.4 maybe officially or something like that.
Yeah. And do you walk around?
56.7, sorry, 56.7 is the official weight.
Yeah. So do you walk around in around 59?
Yeah, 59, eating pizzas and drinking cans of Coke and all.
I wish I was the same. I fight 57 in Taekwondo now, and yeah, the last time I was a big one.
You don't look like you're 59 in anyway.
No, I'm not 59. No, I'm a little bit heavier than that. Like I tend to try to walk around 60, 63-ish, 60. You know.
Yeah.
I'm heavier than that now at the moment, but
and
you know,
just getting back. Taekwondo, do you weigh in the day of?
You weigh in on the day, like so. You get there maybe on a Tuesday, weigh in on a Wednesday, and then that's it. Then, but you mightn't fight till Saturday.
Fuck, that's different than IMMAF. That's a kind of, you could do a professional weight cut then and be rehydrated.
Yeah, I've had the last one was a big one. It was heavy. Like I left it late. Like it was a bad. I cut a lot of weight. Like I think about 64 the week before, which isn't ideal, you know.
Yeah.
But like that, I had a good few days to recover. And the other guy because there's 2 guys per country per weight class. So the other guy who was cutting, he was cutting a good bit of weight as well. He was cutting about the same as me. So we were kind of in it together and that. But we both rehydrated and didn't really like that because we had a couple of days. If you asked me to go the same day, asked me to go the next day, I wouldn't have been able. But having the couple of days,
yeah. Because it is like on the same day, it's a different level into like the few days. Like it definitely helps you.
Yeah. And how do you find in keeping motivated, like when you've won the first one, or like to get up for the next day? Because like, you know, not just having that one fight and that's it. You know, like a Saturday night show, you just have the one fight, you're done. How do you find like having to like fight today, right, and going again tomorrow?
Yeah,
after.
I like it, to be honest. I really do enjoy that experience. Yeah, it's kind of like fucking, it's like living life, isn't it? You win one battle, but that don't mean shit.
Yeah.
You're only as good as like the next one. You know what I mean? Like they say, you're only as good as the last one, but the last one's finished. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, know what I mean?
But you find it tough then, like if you have that tough first round, like you have a guy you consider hard in the first round.
Yeah, it is tough. Like,
you celebrate getting over him, but it's like, well, I gotta go again tomorrow. You can't even celebrate too much that win because
exactly, and it keeps your ego in check. You know what I mean? Because usually, like when you win, you go out party, I'm the best ever. Well, You have another 3 days of fighting. We'll see if we've got this then.
Yeah. It's a
But
different
no,
dynamic into it, like, isn't
I
it? Yeah.
really do enjoy that, like the whole tournament. You know what I mean? Like that atmosphere. Like I really do enjoy it, man. It's something that's just you can't describe to people unless they've been there and done it. Like it's such an alien feeling.
Yeah. And it's even hard to describe like how big some of these tournaments are. Like, if
Yeah,
somebody
like it's
doesn't do
like
that,
over in fucking Bahrain, the Prince like funding the whole thing. You're staying in like hotels where Mercedes make the showers heads and all, and you're just like, this is crazy. Like,
yeah, out in Fight Island.
it's fucked up. Yeah, on Fight Island in Bahrain. Yeah, the mad bastard.
What you making of fights? Are you going to watch the fights at the weekend?
If I can stay up, yeah, I'm usually like passed out by about 1 o'clock, man. I can never stay up and watch them anymore. But no, I probably will. I'm gonna try to go around to one of the boys' gaff. Maybe watch it there. He's mad for them as well. But no, it's gonna be some good fights, man. Yeah, tough calls.
Yeah. Who would you think? Who do you think will win in the main event?
Usman or Masvidal. I'm leaning towards Masvidal because as Masvidal comes in with like I think there's a difference in like fighter between Usman and Masvidal. I think Usman's like the athlete, but I think when Masvidal like is kind of just like fuck all the sportsmanship, and if you want to go outside in the car park, we can have the knock outside in the car park. And like I like that style personally. That's why I've been trying to think of it like that. Like when I first went over to the Europeans in Rome for the first time after tournament, I went over and I tried to play it like a tournament. I tried to win by the jab. Yo, no, what I brought. Yo, I done like I tried to win it like a point system, like work on my jab and like just win the fight. But then I lost. I got robbed in a split decision. Well, I think I got robbed. That was up to the judges. But then for Bahrain, I went over and I said with the mentality, like, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna fucking bash this like it's a knock in the flats. And then I went over and I got bronze. So like it made like that's only reassured me that maybe that attitude actually does work, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's a fight at the end of the day, isn't it? Like I understand that there's technique and the technique does matter, obviously. But like if you can come in there and just be like, not respect the other, like not disrespect, but kind of don't care about the other guy. Just impose your own will on them rather than worrying about what they do.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, like you can't be so afraid to lose or something like that. You forget to win. That kind of mentality, like you just
Yeah,
go in.
exactly. Don't be worried about like winning the fight. Just be worried about killing that other guy. That's the way I kind of think about it. Like, don't think about a decision. Think about a life or death situation. So I think Masvidal has it on that. Know what I mean? That's why I'm leaning towards Masvidal.
Yeah, I think Usman will get the win. I'd love to see Masvidal win for the reasons you said.
Yeah.
I love that him and the Diaz. Like, I just love that thing of like, you know, the idea of you can talk shit on Twitter, you can shock it, but if I see it on site, it's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
fucking love that, bro. I love it.
I like that attitude. Like it doesn't like
because
like,
it's raw. Know what I mean? It's raw. You can tell that like he will, like like he actually will. He'll throw hands on site, you know.
Yeah, sort of like look with the Leon Edwards thing backstage, like just the three people.
Yeah, exactly. And he knows how to play the court system and all. Make sure he doesn't get charged and all. He's a mad thing, proper ghetto man.
Yeah. But like sure, coming from the back, like the backyard fights, like with Kimbo Slice, like that's like I was only seeing clips of that today as well. That was crazy, like what he was doing there.
Yeah. It works, man. It works. It definitely does. Like it gives you that like dog mentality. Like you can tell. Like he fought Diaz like he was just in the backyard, like didn't give a rat's.
Yeah, that's it. It was
crazy one.
Yeah, I only watched that back there the other day, and like that was unbelievable. Like, because Diaz is pure like that as well. Like, just I was getting dropped and was just like, I don't care. Like, come on, come down here.
yeah, come into the guard, fight me here. He's a crazy cunt.
Do you think Max Holloway will beat Volkanovski?
Oh, me and my dad were talking about this today. Like Volkanovski, it's a tough fight, isn't it? Because he has like that dog mentality as well, Volkanovski. Like he doesn't care that Max Holloway is this great striker and he hasn't been like he doesn't give a rat's about it. Like, because sometimes when you respect the other guy, you almost don't let off the shots.
Yeah.
You know, you're kind of like, oh no, like I won't be able to beat the world champ. I won't be able to beat that guy. He's the best for the last 6 years. Or whereas Volkanovski just comes in and hammers the leg off him. So it's a tough one. Like.
Yeah, I think Volkanovski will do it because I think like Holloway,
Yeah.
Holloway was saying that. That's it. Yeah. Holloway was saying like that he hasn't sparred or anything like that, and he was going
I
over.
don't believe that. I don't believe that.
I would still I'd much prefer Volkanovski has said like they got a camp, they had a bubble, he was sparring like he had a proper camp, so it's kind of like, well, I'll go with the guy who had the proper camp.
I was actually going with Holloway right up until me dad told me that, or I think Volkanovski said it, and like I was watching the thing the UFC released today, and he said, I've been doing 3 every day, like 3 full sessions every day, and like it's hard to beat, like hard to knock back that guy, 3 sessions a day, yourself, like you feel fucking amazing when when you've been training 3 times a day for a whole camp, like you feel like a bleeding a thoroughbred, like you feel
Yeah.
good to go.
So what would your kind of training schedule look like if you're, I suppose, getting ready for a fight or getting ready for an IMMAF tournament? Like what's the training schedule look like for you?
It'd probably be like coaching / training at 6:30 in the morning to 7:30 jiu-jitsu, and then I'd go on a jog. Then I'd do 6K, and then I'd train again at 11, and then train again from 11 till like 12:30 MMA session, and then in the evening I'd do grappling probably from 7 till 9, 7 till 9:30.
So about three sessions a day yourself, like?
Yeah, Monday to Friday, yeah, and then Saturday and Sunday I'd probably do 1 a day or 2 a day.
Is there any strength and condition kind of sessions in there?
No, I don't do any of that. I probably should start. I understand that like there is benefits to it and stuff like that, but there is like also I do be mad paro about just the technique, into like I know my technique isn't as good as it can be, so I'm just always worried about that.
Yeah, would you think about getting somebody in there to work with you on the technique?
Yeah, I would like it, to be honest, but like I think like maybe 1 a week, or like it's hard to fuck up your schedule, into like it's hard to like change it around and things like that, because after you do a weight session it's tough to go and do like a rolling session after. Like I've done arms and legs before like that, and then your arms are just like stiff as a board, and you're like, jeez, I can't believe straighten your arms now, but that takes a while to get rid of, I think.
Yeah, you need to a bit more programming, I suppose, is needed to kind of fit it in and be smart with it. But
yeah,
at the same
but
time,
no, I don't do any. Yeah, I only started doing cardio recently, to be honest. I just used to train jiu-jitsu all day. That was it. 3 jiu-jitsu sessions, or an MMA session, and 2 jiu-jitsu sessions, or wrestling.
Yeah, that definitely, I suppose, has its benefits to some point as well. Like you're just constantly like, you're getting your fitness from actually doing the activity you're going to be competing in. But I suppose then as well there is another benefit to, I suppose, generally to training your general cardio fitness and general strength and stuff.
I only started jogging recently, kind of during the lockdown. Like I'd started jogging consistently 3 a week and stuff, and I'd started to see the progress and seeing the time come down and the pace per kilometer. It was fun to see, so I'm going to start doing that more often. I'm going to continue doing 3 a week, like, for definite.
Yeah. Is it, like, I know you said your main gym is with John. Is it like that's where you mostly train? Like what other place are you in as well? Are you still training with Owen Roddy and that and Paddy?
Yeah, I still train with Owen and Paddy, so I'd go out to Charlestown and then I would train with Paddy as well in D24, and then I train in Nice with Sergey. I train like boxing in a boxing gym if I could go down there and things like that,
Mix of everything.
I really do think that's the best way. I think like it's kind of ignorant not to learn off people who have been like doing it longer than you, into like kind of thinking one thing is the best. Like I'm really not a believer in that, man.
Yeah, like that. Like I said, a lot of high level guys there that you're mixing it up with as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because when you go to a different gym and you roll with different bodies, it's basically a free competition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you get to see, you kind of have to be careful yourself, because if they get an armbar, they might whack it on, so you have to be willing to tap really. So you have to go in kind of without the ego as well. But like, it is good, or you're getting tapped out by no-name guys from their gym. You try to go with those guys who are good in that gym, you do well against them, and then you're kind of going against this old man. You're like, jeez, I can't be losing to this guy, but he batters all them guys as well, you know. Yeah.
I was kind of planning for the rest of the year, like obviously with things starting to kick off again. Like, would you like to get many fights in, or are you going to go?
Yeah, for definite, man, for definite. Kazakhstan is in November for the IMMAF World Championships, so I'd like to head over to them again. And Cage Legacy has a show in October, so I'd love to get a fight on that as well. And then, and else, to be honest, once this elbow heals up 100%, I'll fight anybody.
And when are you thinking about, maybe, are you thinking about going pro?
Nah, not for a while, man. No, not for another 3-4 years. I don't think so.
Yeah, so you'll have a good lot of amateur fights racked up then. Like, there's a lot of experience.
Yeah, to be honest, I want to beat Alexander O'Sullivan's record. Alexander O'Sullivan from CMAC has the most. You bollocks. That's one of my bleeding students giving me the finger there. I think Alexander O'Sullivan has the most MMA fights in Ireland at the moment. I think he has 20-something. So I'd like to beat that record, you know?
Yeah.
Which isn't a lot when you think about it. Like, when you think about, like, boxers, or I'm not sure how many fights you have, but you've a lot of experience. Before, exactly, you don't even know. You've just had so many that you lost count.
Yeah, well,
you probably have more losses than I have fights in my whole career, man. Know what I mean? It's crazy, like, when you think about it.
So I started to compete when I was 7. 25 now. That's It seems like if you're doing 4 or 5 tournaments a year, like, it's got less tournaments the older I've got, but like, you're doing 4 or 5 tournaments a year, and like, how many fights? Some tournaments you have 1 fight, some you could have 2, 3, 4. I couldn't tell you. I honestly could not work out how many matches I've had. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. With MMA, I think people rush it a little bit. They maybe get 2 or 3 fights and then they turn pro. But I'm not a fan of that. Like, I really do want to be like the best amateur fighter in the world. Like, no questions asked. Know what I mean? And then I'll turn pro.
Yeah, that's a different mindset to what you see with many people. Many people are looking to just get through the pros, like rack up a little bit of experience and get into the pros as quick as they can, like, to get through the amateur.
Yeah, but why not just skip the queue? Because it's, yourself, like, it's a ruthless world out there. You know what I mean? And yeah, like, it doesn't matter, like, if you turn pro, like, shit could happen, like, just one punch, one, like, little, like, a touches your chin or something in the small gloves, and boom, that's a loss in your record, and now you have to build up harder. Whereas if you go in as the best amateur, you're probably going to sign a decent contract straight away, you know?
Yeah, I think that's what's good, because, like, you see with, like you said, amateur boxing, if you win the Olympics, it kind of sets you ahead of everybody else when you turn pro. And I think
because they realise what you're worth.
Yeah, I think that'll come round even with MMA. Like, the more the IMMAF stuff builds, and you see people, like, if they win 2, 3 of these IMMAF world titles and they're stepping into pro, I think people will start picking, like, the UFC will pick them up much earlier.
Like, who are you, like, if you were the UFC, who are you going to pick? You're going to pick Jimmy No Name from down the street who has 12 fights and no losses? Or you're going to pick, like, fucking Gary Rooney, world champion? He might have a few losses on the record, but if he's, like, for definite the best fighter at the moment, like, of course we're going to sign that guy who's like an amateur. That Jimmy guy might be 12-0 as a pro, but even still, you're going to be saying, right, this guy's exciting. He probably already has a following and things like that, you know?
Yeah. Especially, like, when you're seeing it, I suppose with the UFC, it's not too, like, it doesn't happen too much, guys with 1 or 2 pro fights, but, like, it still does happen. Like, people have been picked up, but like that, like you said. But if you've guys who maybe they haven't had any pro fights yet, but they've racked up, like, they have 20 odd wins as an amateur, they have a couple of world titles behind them, you're kind of going, well, this guy has loads of experience, as opposed to somebody who had 2 or 3 amateur fights and is like 1-0 as a pro. It's like, well,
it's going to be tough, you know. And now losses matter. I think that's what people forget. Nobody cares when you lose when you're an amateur. Nobody gives a bollocks. You turn pro, you're 0-0 again, and then you can't go back to amateur and say, oh no, I just want to scrap that for a second, I'm not professional anymore.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that is forgotten as well, is that it does start again. It is, you are 0-0. It is a clean slate, like.
Yeah. It's kind of like doing the leaving when you do your junior. Like, nobody asks you what your junior shirt is.
That's actually a great comparison. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So why not just get, like, the best junior shirt result in the whole country, and then front you're leaving? Yeah.
But like, have you always kind of been full time training and coaching that, or have you had to work with training and anything like that?
No, I've never had to get a job around.
That's the life.
Yeah, I don't plan on it, brother.
That's there is no plan B. It's fight or
No,
nothing.
honestly, like I'm not, like it's not. I'm probably not like somebody to look up to, like for the kids and say, "Oh no, like do this and get a job and train and go to college and train." I just think go for it. So like you've only like a certain amount of time, like what you're saying, like oh your back's a bit sore. I think like you can go to college when you're 40, or you can get a job. I can start stacking shelves and duns when I'm 40. Like why would I waste my youth, the best fucking time in my life to be fit? Like why would I waste that? You know what I mean? I'll just give everything to training now at the moment.
Yeah. So how do you go about then funding the tournaments? Is it all sponsorship stuff like to get to these?
It's mostly all sponsorship. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I have to pay on my own pocket. Like I'll get cash here and there. You know what I mean? Do an odd job, paint an odd wall, get cash for that. But I wouldn't like have a 9 to 5 job or anything like that.
Yeah. I suppose that's the challenge with all these kind of, like we're the same. It's not funded. You know, that you go to these big
Yeah.
events, it's all out of your own pocket. Like there's no funding, which is always the challenge of.
Yeah, there's like a funeral directors on Maid Street who fund me, you know what I mean, O'Dwyer and Son's funeral, so they give me some cash when I go over, and pins and needles for the last one done like a tattoo thing for me, so that was really cool, you know what I mean? So it's fun, man. It's like the thing is as well, you realise like the area looks after you, you know what I mean? Like it's not Google that's giving me money, and it's not Facebook, it's like it's the people who are struggling, man, you know what I mean, opening up a small business and they're giving you money. You know what I mean? Like that's what you have to remember, and it really puts you into perspective that you look after your own.
Yeah. But then, like you said, they're supporting you, so then you nearly want to succeed for them as well. You know, it's like, well, they've put a bit of faith in you, so it's like, well, you kind of half want to repay them.
Yeah, they believe it. They believe that I can get the gold as well. It's not just me, you know.
Yeah. But and would the plan be to get to the UFC?
Yeah, the plan would be to get to the UFC, or whoever's paying well as well. You know what I mean? Like the UFC is good and fucking it's the best. But I also don't mind like the Asian promotions like One or Rising. Like I enjoy them promotions as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure,
And Brave as well. Brave, which is like a fucking the IMMAF is like the breeding ground for Brave, and fucking they have loads of money. So why not fight for the old sheik again? Pay me loads.
Especially if you can come through the IMMAF ranks and they're used to seeing you out, they'll pay you the money.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because at the end of the day, if I can fund my like dream of opening up a gym and like giving back to the area for fighting for Brave, of course I'm gonna do that. You know. The UFC will come eventually. Like I am a firm believer in that. Like because I do want to show that I truly do believe that with the hard work I can do, I could be the best in the world. Like,
yeah, would that be your kind of goal? Like to just like at the end of fighting, have yourself set up that, like you said, you'll have a gym and you can, let's say, not fall back on, but like that's the goal. Like get yourself set up for out of after fighting, not necessarily.
yeah. I'd love to just coach. Like when I'm done coaching, I just want to. Sorry, when I'm done fighting professionally, or I haven't even started. But like when it's all said and done and stuff like that, I'd love to just coach and train jiu-jitsu all day. That's it.
Yeah, I think like I think it's a good idea that you're kind of thinking more so that way, because I think sometimes guys get caught up in that they're going to go, I'm going to be the next McGregor. I'm going to have the 100 million in the bank, and I'm not going to work a day in my life.
There's only one Conor, man. Know what I mean? Like that's it. Like that's what people need to realize. Like it's not something that's a factory made. Know what I mean? Like everybody's kind of trying to be like Conor now and things like that, and it doesn't work. You can tell it from a mile away. You know?
Yeah, but I think like that. Like if you're better off, this is my opinion outside, that you're better off thinking about, well, how do I use my professional fighting career to set up that I'm secure after, in terms of like whether that's having a gym, whether it's doing whatever, like so maybe some people go into like DC or something, goes into TV work, but whatever it is, something.
Yeah, exactly.
Use what you do as a professional to set yourself up after. Like don't just think like, you know, that I'm going to have this pot of gold at the end of it and I'm going to sit on that, because
sure, even like it's McGregor was making good money even before like he got the belt, so it's not necessarily you have to become champion to become rich, you know what I mean? Like it's just things worked out for him, and like it's fucking unbelievable. I don't think like lightning strikes twice like that, you know.
Yeah.
Like and even after seeing like Connor's like fame and success like that, it's almost like a turn off for me because, man, the fella can't go get milk in the shop.
Yeah.
Like, that's a poxy position to be in, know what I mean?
Yeah. Imagine that. No, you can't even leave. You can't even walk outside in the flats and
Like,
without
it's crazy, man. That sounds horrible to me, to be honest. And like people changing, like the way they are to you now. Know what I mean? Like that's more money, more problems. Know what I mean? Biggie says it correctly. I've no money and more problems, but he has more money and more problems.
Oh, brilliant. But I suppose just before we finish up, if you had to pick a favorite fighter, who would you pick? Doesn't necessarily have to be MMA. Maybe it's jiu-jitsu, any sport. Who would you pick? If you had to pick a favorite fighter, who would you pick?
Meow and a meow fla.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a different one. That's a different one. Any reasons why?
Because they fought through some hardship with that, yeah. They fought through it all. They fought through things that we couldn't even imagine going through. And without them, like, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Nice one. That's the first one. It's a very personal one. I've had one or two people say their brother, older brother, younger brother, but you're the first to go with the mum and the dad.
Oh, did you buy me something nice for that?
But yeah, man, thanks for coming on. I really enjoyed the chat.
No, bro, it was cool as fuck, yeah. Just like a chat into sometimes the podcasts are a bit weird, like, but that was nice, like.
Yeah, we tried to keep it more Joe Rogan, less Ariel Helwani style, I suppose, is what we're trying.
I really enjoyed it, bro. You know what I mean? I was like, I usually don't do the podcast because they're just like the mad questions, but this was cool, bro. I really appreciate it, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, and like hopefully the injury will heal quick enough and you'll get back and get some.
100%, bro, 100%.
Yeah, so take care, man. All the best.
Have a good day, brother. I'll be on to you about some stretching and some training.
No worries, I'll get back to you.
Yeah, have a good day, brother, yeah?
Cheers, all the best.